The shorter days were evident as we rode in to gather in ball ground for the long loop ride. The sun had not yet peeked over the horizon. At the Chevron station, since it's down below the hillside, it was still pretty dark. But Mike was there to brighten things up for us. Soon we headed north and made our way into Jasper. Then from Jasper we took Cove Road east. Up the Twisties until we got to Grandview Road. Going up Grandview, we got a decent look at Sharp Top Mountain. And then the lake at Grandview, which is in the process of being drained so that they can work on the 60-year-old dam. Then it was up the mountains onto State Route 136 as we continue to make our way up and northeast. It wasn't long before we started our way into Cartacay, a little two-store town, and made a turn onto a little road that takes us through a few farms. Even though we're headed generally north, there were many places where the sun would blind you. You'd have to put your hand up to shade your eyes. Here we're passing one of the farms on Doublehead Gap Road, which I always find delightful. They take great care of the place. It's now about 9:30 and time for a break, so we head over to Dial and to Van Zant's store, where we hope they have some hot coffee and breakfast for the guys. We were real happy when they reopened this place, as it's at a location that really is good for anybody heading to the backcountry over here. They serve a pretty full breakfast these days, as our guys soon found out. Here we have Mike and Frank and Larry chowing down, getting ready for the rest of the day. At this point, we're going to break into two groups. The cruisers going up Asker Road to Blue Ridge and then down Highway 60 to Suches, and Bob on his V-Strom and Larry on his KLR are going to head over to the Forest Service roads and get to Suches that way. The camera went with Bob, and here they are going up Forest Service Road 58 off a Doublehead Gap Road. That's Larry in the front on his KLR. Bob got a little lazy and didn't take his tire pressure down, so it's a little bumpier here than it need be. It was difficult dealing with the blinding sun. It often obscured potholes and rocks on the road, leading to a little bit more bouncing around, but nevertheless, it was a good ride up. Parts of this road are a little rocky. You have to piece your way around those. Other parts are fairly smooth, and you can take the speed up to maybe 30, a little over 30 miles an hour. Typically, though, you're moving along at about 20. Here Larry stops to give a dual sporter who seems to have lost his way some directions. Larry knows this area and these Forest Service roads very well. As we make our way up Forest Service Road 58, it gets a little rockier. As it approaches the intersection with Forest Service Road 42, which we'll be taking over to Suches. Deer season for bow hunters is open, and we came across a couple pickup trucks here and there. Didn't see too many people. I imagine they're pretty well camouflaged or out of the woods this late. It must be around 10:30 now. Forest Service Road 42 is smooth compared to some of the sections we've already crossed, and I didn't record too much on there. We worked our way over to Suches, and here we're getting on to Highway 60 going north to meet the other fellows up at the gas station at the corner of 60 and 180. One of the things we wanted to do on this short trip up to the station is take a look at TWO. And you'll see Larry pulling over here. This is two wheels only. It used to be a motorcycle resort area, but as you can see, it's off to the left there. There's not much happening there. Although there's a lot of talk about the property being sold, and perhaps something coming back in there to serve the motorcycles in this area. This station is a popular gathering point, as you can see as we roll in. There must be 20, 25 cruisers there, and I'm sure during the day there's many more. We stop here and meet up with the other fellows, and then shortly take off to get some lunch. We head east on 180, heading towards Wolfpen Gap. The diner is just before you get to the State Park area over there. The 180 diner is just a little place. It's only open on the weekend, and they serve a good lunch. I got faked out a few times here, thinking I had arrived, but almost looks like I've never been here before, although I have been here on many an occasion. Now we're getting there. Yeah, here it is, just off to the right. I almost flew right past their parking lot, but managed to turn in. Just in time for lunch. Here the guys solve the world's problems while they're waiting for their order to be served. This place is fairly well known for its hamburgers. And Mark looks delighted with that 6-inch hamburger that he got. After lunch, we headed over to the Richard Russell Scenic Parkway. I had a problem with the remote on my camera, so we didn't get any film of Wolfman Gap. That's the third time in a row that I've had difficulty before entering Wolfman Gap and haven't been able to get a good video of that. The Richard Russell is a nice road. In part you're heading downhill, mainly sweepers, nothing too difficult. But when you get down near the terminus on the Helen end, the turns get a little tighter, the hill a little steeper, and you have to watch out what you're doing. It's easy to go in too fast. The Richard Russell terminates in Highway 75A, and rather than going over to Helen, which is usually a zoo on a weekend, we make a right and head down to Smithgall Woods. Here's the crew. That's Frank on the left, and then Larry, then Mark, and Mike. From Smithgall Woods we headed home. Here we are on 400. And soon we were at the familiar Y in Dawsonville. And headed up towards Silver City. It was a good ride. Chalk up another good one. If you want to see some of our other ride reports, take a look at TLCMC.org. We have a little website there that could be of interest to you.